we can install the tools, VueCLI, the command line interface. This is used to create projects using the terminal command VueCreate. For VS Code, Visual Studio Code, this is used to type out code for our game, which we'll be doing in the next video. For Node.js and the Node Package Manager, or NPM, this is the execution to run our app using npm run serve. For project setup 2, those tools that I said in the last slide, these are the links to go to the documentation to install it on your computer. Alright, I already installed VueCLI. Heading to this link at cli.vuejs.org/guide/installation.html. I already installed mine using npm install. And if you guys are going to use Yarn to install VueCLI, be sure to follow the steps in the documentation down below. The steps. For VueCreate, we can head to this link up here. This is to show you guys how to create a project using inside a terminal. This person used VueCreate to create a Hello World project with this VueCLI version displayed inside a terminal on the top left of the screen of version 3.4, asking some terminal questions down below the VueCLI version in steps 3 and step 4, which we will be seeing once we get into writing our terminal commands here in a bit. For an installation of Visual Studio Code, the documentation of Visual Studio Code, what we can go to is code.visualstudio.com/docs. We can download this for version 1.58. And for the getting started header, this is talking a brief explanation about Visual Studio Code. Down below the getting started about Visual Studio Code, this is what Visual Studio Code looks like in action. You can see some code, run some functions, along with the line numbers to the side. And also you can see that there are some options for this person to use for the letter G. For the top extensions that are down below the Visual Studio Code in action, we can see that there are a lot of top extensions that are in Visual Studio Code. Two of which I have Prettier, which is a code formatter for Vue and any tool, and Live Server, which is a local or development server. These are the tools that I have installed for Visual Studio Code, which I'll show you guys if you guys have Visual Studio Code downloaded. And after we also create the project inside a terminal, I'll show you guys. What we can do now is click on the blue download button on the top right corner of your screen, or you guys can go to /download in the web browser, and we can download this for Windows, Linux, or Mac. I already have mine installed for Mac. Just like for the VueCLI, I had it for 4.5.13, the latest version. And for Node.js, the final thing we need for the project setup is heading to nodejs.org/in/download. We can see this for LTS or current. It's up to you guys which one to download. For Windows installer, macOS installer, or source code for these two categories displayed up above it, or the installer or the binary down below it, below any installer you want. I already have mine installed for macOS installer. And we can also go to the documentation by going to /docs, just like what we did for the Visual Studio Code documentation in the last link. As you guys can see here, these are previous Node.js versions displayed right here. And what we can do is, once you guys do have these things installed, what we can do is go to terminal, wherever you're typing your commands in, cmder for Windows or Linux. We can go check to see what version we have. we can go to node double hyphen version. I'm going to say we can type node double hyphen version. We have a version of 15.8 for me, for my computer, my version. What we can do next is npm dash version. Is the execution. And what we can also do for the Vue CLI, and the first link we went to is Vue version, and we see that we have it for 5.13. And also, now that we understand our project setup, what we're going to be using to create this game in the next video, we can start typing our terminal commands down below. And by the way, before we continue, if you guys are having trouble finding where to find the links of where to install these tools in Project Setup 1 or Project Setup 2, be sure to rewind the video, or you guys can just look at the links down in Project Setup 2. Alright, so the people who are done installing these dependencies, we can change directory into documents. And now what we can do, change directory into Vue. And if you guys are using Windows or Linux, you guys can create a new folder by doing a double click inside of wherever you guys are creating this Speedy Fingers game that we're going to be creating right now in Documents, Desktop, wherever. Be sure to create a new folder called Sum of your choice, just like the project we're going to be creating, Sum of your choice. We're going to be using Vue Create to create this. We're going to say Vue Create, Speedy Fingers, Part 2. Oh, oops, I put a P in front of it. But we will see the Vue CLI version that we saw in the terminal, in the documentation for Vue CLI that we also saw for the Vue Create documentation for steps 3 and step 4. It had some questions just like we see right now. We can go and click on the down arrow key of our keyboard and click enter for this option, which is default Vue 3 Babel and ESLint, which is the second option of the 3. We can enter on that. In this project, we'll be installing. Terminal will be creating a project for us, which will be nice. What we can do while we're waiting for this, we can open Visual Studio Code once it's fully downloaded and installed. We can click on Open Folder, and we can find where we created this project in. For me, it was in Documents, inside of Vue, and the project name that I created. What it was called, Speedy Fingers Part 2. I just boarded it out as FP2. For now, you guys just see a package.json file in there. We can close the welcome screen once we loaded up the project. And inside of the package.json, we can see the dependencies that we are installing, such as Babel and ESLint, including the Vue CLI service, which is basically the command line interface that we saw in the first link. And I suggest you guys to get these extensions that I'm about to show you guys right now. If you guys remember earlier, I showed you guys 2 of them that I've installed at the Visual Studio Code documentation. These are Live Server, which is a local development server, which we will see the game in action inside of a browser, a local and network development server. For the prettier, there's a code formatter, and you guys can use this for Vue, because I am using this code formatter prettier for Vue. There's many more, but we're going to use it for Vue. For feature, this is a Vue tooling for VS Code, which I suggest you guys to install all 3 of these on your computer inside of Visual Studio Code. Once you do have Visual Studio Code downloaded, so we can test it, run our game, code our game in the next video. But this, like I said, this part 2, we're going to do the project setup. Indeed, this is the project setup. There will be more dependencies, like I said. There will be the public and source folder, which we're going to be creating a game in, and also this whole installation that you guys are seeing right here with the progress bar and stuff like that. This will take about between 2 to 5 minutes, but feel free to fast forward this video until I have this actually installed. And if you guys do have it installed and I don't, just fast forward it so you guys don't need to waste your time in this video just waiting for me. So basically what I'm trying to say is just see what I did and once this was fully installed. And this will take a while. There you go. Alright, it just needs to run one more loop, and then we will run our last 2 commands, which will open up a local and network development server, which is indeed what we want to test our game. And now it's up to you guys which one you want to use to run our game. It could be local or network, which we'll see here. First, what we can do is change directory into the project name. Now we're inside of document. We created the project and documents in the view folder. Now we are inside of the project name. What we're going to do now is run npm unserve. And what you guys see what I did once I type pwd, which shows you where you guys are. You guys can see the whole diagram of where I am. And once I run npm unserve, you can see that the development server from live server top extension that we have is everything as planned. So there will be a local and network development server, which will appear once this percentage bar has reached 100%. Copy and paste the local. And we can see a welcome to VueJS app. It looks really nice, but this isn't our code. So what we can do is go to the source folder. Inside of components, we can go to helloworld.vue and delete the file fully by double clicking on helloworld.vue and clicking the delete button that it gives us. After we delete the helloworld.vue, which will take some time, there you go. Now we can delete the template for helloworld's app.vue. We can delete the script and component registration. Our own code, not our own Hello World code. But in the next video, I will show you guys how to create the app, the whole game. So I hope to see you guys in part 3. And by the way, be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Smash the like button. And if you guys are seeing this error, we'll worry about that in the next video. This is just telling me that we need some code to start running the game. So I'll see you guys in the next video where we're going to be talking about how to code our game. Hope to see you guys there.